Okay, here we are on a Wednesday night. I'm Coach, and I'm with,
Casey,
and we are Faithletic The
Faithletic the
Podcast.
Podcast.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to time on the phone. We know this.
Yeah,
We
just a
know this
little
for
bit.
sure.
Just a little bit. We are back for the second week in a row, actually.
Yes, we are. We are.
Which is a rarity these days. Unfortunately, my main man, KC, is not in the house, but he is here remotely by phone. If you haven't already figured that out yet. But we're both wearing red today. If you knew that or not, so you can see that.
How'd you know?
Well, because I have your picture on the screen along with me that says on the phone, and then I'm wearing a red team black shirt. So we're both red today. So I might have should have color coordinate that a little bit better.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. So
That's right. I actually am wearing pink anyway, so
well, it's a good thing you're not on.
For anybody that's home, but that's okay.
There's no pink in this household, in this studio.
Nope.
So I don't wear pink. My wife can wear pink all day, and I'm good with it. But I don't wear pink. Just that simple.
Hey, that's all right. Different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
That's what makes the world go round.
Just not a fan.
That's all right.
I mean, I have worn pink. I used to when it was kind of fashionable.
I'm just a bright colors guy. That's kind of the way that I roll.
Yeah, I don't. I'm a black and gray guy, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's in the name.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is. And I do have a few colors. You know, I like a dark green, and I like red. I have a few things that are red, but speaking of red, have you seen how rich and bright the Mazda red is? Have you ever seen the Mazda red?
Yes.
And that has got to be the prettiest red I've ever seen on a car.
Yes, or the Mazda 3.
Yeah,
that thing
all the
is
Mazdas.
nice.
They have this color code that's other manufacturers have tried to duplicate it, but it's just there was a I think it was a Lexus that was parked next to it today at our office, and it was trying to be that red, but it wasn't. It was trying, but it just wasn't there. I looked at
Just
the
not
Mazda.
quite.
It just wasn't quite there. And look, my favorite car ever was that color red. It probably wasn't as rich as that, but that metallic, deep, rich red is my favorite color on a car. One of these days I'll have one. Maybe. I've already had one, so maybe that's it. Maybe that's my red car for my lifetime. Have you ever had a red car?
I have never had a red car. I've only had gold and silver. That's what I roll.
So I'm a guy that's been known to have a few cars in my life, and I think gray silver is probably ahead on me, and then as much as I like black, I don't think I've had two black vehicles my entire life. But
Well, in Oklahoma,
yeah,
it's just red dirt everywhere on a
Yeah.
black car.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't look great.
no, it doesn't. Not with the dirt. But the last two I've had, three I've had, four I've had have been either silver or dark gray. So I'm kind of on a roll. But I've also had like four whites in a row too. So,
Sure.
and I have a funny thing about white. If it's that pure white, like I don't even know what it's not a pearl white because to me pearl has a kind of a tricolor to it. When you sun it kind of glitters off in different colors. If it's that flat white, I guess, but still has a gloss to it, like my wife's vehicle's that color. It's that flat white. I don't like it. It's just too white. Am I odd?
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I was lost in the sauce for a second.
Well, I mean, somebody, I've been looking at a car. What kind of car? What color? Oh, white, but I don't want just the pure white car. Oh, okay. So I come driving up, and it's like, this is pure white. I mean, there's no tricolor tint to it. No.
That's what my grandpa has always been a fan of.
Yeah.
Like he's got a white '69 Stingray Corvette.
Yeah, but they didn't have the tricolor then, so it's probably all he had was the white, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but there's
like
that. But
cotton.
then he's got he's got a white. He's had a white Grand Prix. Everything
white.
he owns is white as far as car goes, and I just don't get it. Now, this man is like treats his cars like the
People.
Golden Gate Bridge,
Yeah.
where you have to feels like he's painted and washing it every single
I know
day.
the type.
But
I know the type. And look, I get it, but the probably hand washes it because the car wash is too harsh on it. One of those.
100%.
Yeah. Which it might be, but that's really extreme. Change the oil every 1,000 miles, that kind of thing. Rotates the tires every 2,000 miles.
Yeah, I'm pretty decent at car care.
Yeah, me too.
Like the inside of my car isn't always sometimes I live out of it during the basketball season and stuff.
Sure,
but
I've done that.
For the most part, it's pretty good. So,
I have.
But yeah, this is now a car care podcast. So
we go down some rabbit holes here, that's for sure. I mean, my car is sometimes my office, and sometimes I have meetings in my office in my car. So I try to keep it as pretty clean as I can. I mean, I want people.
That was my dad.
Yeah.
Like he's a guy. I never know if my boss might show up or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that'd be a show sometime in the off season. Best muscle cars. I don't think have we ever done that? I don't remember doing a muscle car show.
I don't know. I don't think we have. But how much I love John Wick. Like, I'm the biggest fan out there.
Never seen
it. You've never seen it?
Nope. Not gonna.
Yeah, damn.
Sorry. I've heard about it. I've seen trailers. It's just too.
Movies.
It's no. Yeah. First of all, Keanu Reeves can't act. Okay, so
Stop.
Story number one, and then number two is I'm not a big fan of the slasher movies, and it's a slasher movie. It's not a horror movie, but it's it's all how many different ways can you mess somebody up, and I'm not a fan of those.
It's just James Bond.
It's James Bond with a lot of gore. I like James Bond.
There is zero gore in
not what I've
movies.
seen.
There's blood, but there's
That's
no
what I mean.
gore.
That's gore. It's just too much. It's just too much.
Oh man.
I mean, look, I'll back up. You could call Rocky fantasy because of the beating he takes and still keeps coming at you. But
right.
It's kind of like Fast and the Furious. They'll go through, fall off a cliff onto a bed of rocks, and not a scratch. I mean, kind of John Wick. I mean, he's still alive, supposedly, from what I've heard. So even though he's been shot 62 times,
he's dead as of the fourth movie.
Okay,
so
that's what I've heard. But I've also said that he's probably not really dead.
No, because there's gonna be John Wick 5. He's on the beach with Halle Berry's character, probably.
Of course,
hanging out. So
is Halle Berry in the Wicks?
Yeah, she's in the third one.
I did not know that.
Yeah, those movies are fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason why even the critics, like the staunchest critics, like those movies because it's so well shot.
I'm not sure I buy that. But look, you and I have always usually been on this pretty close to the same page as far as movies go, within reason. We're way off on this one.
Yeah, we are. I mean, yeah, I'm going to say just give it a chance.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah. Hey, if my father-in-law
tell me something that's 2 hours.
Listen, my father-in-law, but he's pretty, tightened up on like what he watches and stuff like that. Loves those movies.
I'm shocked. I'm gonna have to ask you about this.
What's the best movie you've seen lately?
Forge. The Forge.
Forge.
Yeah. Really like Reagan as well. Those two were really good. Dennis Quaid did, I thought, a pretty
Sure.
good job, and he always does. So even if you're, not a fan of Reagan's, it's really a good story, in my opinion. And he appeals.
Is he trying to go for JFK there? Like
No.
follow Costner's footsteps?
No.
No. All
What?
right.
No, it was kind of biopic kind of thing. It's told by a Russian spy. So I thought it was well done. And John Voight plays the Russian spy. He tells the story of how Reagan came to power and how they feared him more. And even back in the 40s, they feared him because his ideals and his beliefs. And he wasn't even Republican yet. He just fought communism in Hollywood just drastically. And he was still a Democrat then. So, but it's really good. I thought it was well done, and I know a little bit of Reagan history. He's one of my favorite presidents.
Sure.
But anyway, I mean, I think a lot of that's because he just communicates so well. I mean,
yeah, he was well liked on
by all
both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. And I think, and look, I don't remember enough of this to say how true it was, but I do remember this particular instant. He was debating with Mondale in the '84 presidential election, and he had struggled in some of the press conferences, and I think an earlier debate, and people were starting to question whether he was competent. And somebody asked, how do you feel about bringing age into this race? And he said, I promise not to hold my opponent's youth and inexperience against him. And it completely changed the election because that wasn't what the question was, basically. He's flipped it back on Mondale as being inexperienced and young, which he's probably 50. Reagan was like 74 when he ran for a second term. So, anyway, just, the way he was able to communicate with people and earn people's respect, even Gorbachev. Gorbachev basically took down the wall because of what Reagan said. So, but he had such respect for Reagan.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, such respect for him. And that's very rare in an international figure where you earn that kind of respect. Anyway, we can move on. We're getting out of sports and politics, and we pretty much don't do politics here. We're just talking about a movie.
We're in movies, that is our lane a little bit.
Just talking about a movie. We went from cars to a movie, which is, our rabbit holes we go down every once in a while, and that's how we roll. So, if I had not seen you, Casey, I would starting to think I was dealing with AI here on the radio. On our
Is that
podcast.
why? Is that right? Why?
Well, because I hadn't seen you.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Until last Saturday, and why don't you tell people what we did last Saturday?
Yeah, so last Saturday we had talked on the air last week that we were both interested in going to the University of Central Oklahoma versus Northwest Missouri State game, and we had the privilege to go tailgate. I met some of Dan's old buddies, and we watched the first half, or two. I think we left about midway through the third. By the time we left, but hey, the Cho's, they rolled on, man.
They did.
After we left, they just kept scoring. So
they did.
That was a big win for them.
It was. They're 8th in the country now.
They're what? They're
eighth.
Eighth. Man, top 10. When's the last time they were ranked top 10, you think?
I think it was 2004. Because they started out like 6 or 7-0 in 2004. So they had to have been close to top 10. And the year they were undefeated until the playoffs was 98. I'm sorry. It was 98. They went 13-0 in the regular season, lost in the first round of the playoffs. But this is one of the better seasons they've had. Now, of course, they've got 4 more games or 5 more games to go, and they got Emporia State and Pittsburgh State on the schedule in the next 3 weeks. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. But we ran into our friend of the show and also one of our guests, David Raleigh, UCO Hall of Famer, former defensive tackle for the national championship team in 1982. And he felt that if they got past one of the next 2 games, if they got past either Pittsburgh or Emporia, they would be in the playoffs as long as they didn't lose it, to somebody they shouldn't lose to somewhere in that process. Because that'll put them top 2 in the conference, and he says they'll make it. So anything can happen once you get in. All you got to do is get in. So they've got a really good shot, and they've got Northeastern this weekend. It's the President's Cup game. Interesting fact. Want to hear a little bit of history?
Absolutely, okay. I do.
I figured you would. 1982, we were top 10 in the country. Northeastern, I think, was second, and we might have been third. And we go to Tahlequah, and we've got them down 26-7 going into the latter part of the third quarter, and we just crumble like a cookie. And they beat us 42-26, and they scored, I don't remember, 5 touchdowns in the last quarter. Something like that. We just fell apart. That was our second loss of the season. We had been upset by Southeastern in like game 2, which shouldn't even happen. It was one of those funky, not Southeastern, Southwestern in Weatherford. Just one of those strange games. It was like 12-7 or something like that. And just, we're driving to win. We fumbled the ball, and they end up winning. So it was almost like our playoff hopes had been dashed by losing. And we would have played 9 games back in because nobody would play us. No one would play UCO, Central State, because they were so good. Especially the state schools hardly would play us, except the ones that are in our conference or our district. I don't think we were even in a conference then. I think it was called District 9. And we fought and clawed. In fact, just convincingly won our final, I want to say 5 games by a bunch. Like, shut people out. Our quarterback went 16 for 16. Randy Page, who's been on our show in one game at like 400 yards. We made people kind of take notice of us. So we squeezed in the playoffs, and in the semifinal game, we won the first round by, I don't remember, 63-20, something like that. And then we had to go back to Northeastern to Tahlequah to play in the semifinal game, and the conditions were atrocious. Of course. It was misting. It was probably 10 degrees. It was awful. And you met Willie Henderson was on our Hall of Fame on that season. The opposite wide receiver, Derek Zeno, got a punt with about 7 minutes left in the game and took it to the house. And we ended up winning that 28-17 or 28-24, I can't remember. But anyway, that punt return won the game for us. And then we went on to win a national title a week later. But Northeastern just, I think they were second in the country, and we were seventh or eighth when that game was played. And, of course, we made it all the way to the championship game and won it. But just interesting history there, how we had them beat the first time we played, and then we had to come from behind in the second, and one of the worst conditions I've ever been exposed to on the sidelines. It was awful. It was terrible. I don't know how anybody functioned. But that was and Dave Raleigh played in that game as well, so he remembers those conditions really well. But anyway, just a little history there, and they play each other this Saturday. I think it's at Tahlequah. It's the 83rd meeting, by the way. Something like that.
Holy cow.
Something like that. Well, I can't look at it right now, but I think it's 80-something meeting between the two. There's been a bunch. So, may have been longer than that. I can't remember. But their first meeting, the UCO won that like 80-0. It was crazy. And they still have the game ball for that, by the way, in the trophy case at UCO.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a picture of it on Facebook this week. I'd forgotten it was there, truthfully. Too many days have gone by. Yep, it was a good experience. Got to see Jeff McKibben, who was I was part of his first staff as an athletic trainer in 1980, and then got to see a few other celebrities here and there, former football players and some administrators and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great time. I really enjoyed myself.
What'd you think of the facilities?
Really nice facilities.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would be great for somebody that just doesn't quite make D1 or something like that, or whatever. Like I thought that was pretty great.
I've been told it's one of the finest facilities in Division II, but I haven't been to anybody else's, so I don't know. But I've been told it is. So, anyway, we can move on. So I thought what we would do today is before we're going to do our normal predictions and review our picks from last week, but we thought we would just kind of do a quick refresher on the NFL and the divisions and how they're set right now, and kind of an early playoff preview. I know there's no way that we're going to start the playoffs with 6 games in. Like if they had a strike and they didn't resolve the strike until like Game 6, and it's like, well, we got to start playing now because it's January. We got to start the playoffs. That's not going to happen. But if we were to stop the season today, who would be in the playoffs? I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I'm sure it's going to change between now and then, but let's if you're in,
let's take a look at that.
Yeah,
you're talking NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or college?
Yeah, not college yet. I haven't studied enough. And then I've got we start the AFC, the West right now. The Bills are division winners. The Chiefs, the Ravens,
yes,
and the Texans.
The Texans, they'd be in, and then I think your next best would be the Steelers. The Chargers. Yes. And the...
Would it be the Broncos or the Colts?
Broncos.
Or the Colts?
Let's see.
They're 3-3. They're both 3-3.
The point... It would actually go to the Broncos.
Okay. So, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Ravens, Steelers, Texans. With Texans the Chiefs getting the bye. Right?
Yeah, because they're
the undefeated team in the AFC.
Yeah, they're the only undefeated team in the AFC.
Anything surprise you there of those teams that are in the playoffs if we start the season today?
Well, I don't know. I don't think anybody surprises me really in the AFC. Maybe the Broncos.
That's what I would say.
I just don't. I don't see it lasting.
I don't either. It's although you can underestimate Sean Payton.
No, and I was just about to say that. It's probably the best well-coached division in football. Like, you could make that argument.
He's pretty good. So I don't see really anything. Let's just kind of look at division. I don't know if any of the other 3 teams in the AFC East make it. Right now, I would say the only team that has a legitimate shot is probably the Jets. And if they keep playing the way they are, they're not going to. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing atrocious, in my opinion. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I don't know if I see any. Maybe the Chargers would be the only team in the AFC West other than the Chiefs that get in. And I'm not quite sure I'm sold on them yet either. I do see Bengals or Steelers, perhaps.
Yeah, Bengals are so inconsistent, though, right now, but I do see them making a run.
Yeah.
I see that happening. I I still am going with my original pick that I think that the Chiefs and the Texans will probably face off in the AFC Championship game. I think we're headed that way, but it would not be surprising at all if you see another Chiefs Bills or with the health of the Chiefs right now as it is, and it just being trying to go for back to back to back, and what that war can wage on your team, and we're seeing it. Like, it would not be surprising at all if you see a Bills Texans. I would not, and I struggle to say that, but like I would not be surprised at all.
I'm trying to remember. I know I had the Texans in the Super Bowl. Let me see who I had. I can't remember if I had the Bills or the Bengals. I know that I did not have. I had Cincinnati and the Texans in the AFC Championship game. Right now, that pick doesn't look very wise, but you never know. Texans for sure. I mean, Texans are still my AFC. I'm not changing that AFC Championship team. So they would be in there. Any disappointments? AFC?
I mean, right now it's the Bengals.
Yeah.
I know we just said they'd probably take a shot at making a run, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty overall disappointing for sure. Let's see.
Dolphins,
who else
maybe?
is disappointing?
Dolphins without Tua.
Jaguars.
Oh,
are really
yeah, there you go.
disappointing.
Jaguars are they're 1-5. That's disappointing. Peterson's on the hot seat.
And Deshaun Watson has to be.
Yeah,
like,
that's another one.
one of the biggest
Yeah.
disappointments, especially for Browns fans. Like, you had a certified star in Baker Mayfield as far as a game manager that can get things done, and you traded for somebody that hasn't played in a year and a half and doesn't care about football.
Yeah.
Like, he's done.
Yeah.
Like, you spent, and they can't do anything about their roster. They're trading away Amari Cooper, so they're pretty much well done. They're probably thinking about the future if you're making decisions like that.
Yeah, they're checked out.
Like, they're going to try to get a quarterback. That would be my guess.
Yeah, you probably need to make some sort of assessment change there somehow. Okay, so you pretty much sticking by your early preview that we did before the season started. You had Kansas City and the Texans in the AFC Championship game, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. NFC. NFC South. I don't think either one of us had the Falcons. I could be wrong.
I might have.
Let me see. I got it here. Hold on a second. NFC, you had the Falcons. You did have the Falcons in winning the division, and so did I. We did both have them.
Knew it.
We both had them.
We believed in Kirk Cousins.
We did.
As everybody should. They should believe in Kirk Cousins.
We also had Tampa Bay second. We did not have them making the playoffs, but we did have them second in the NFC South. I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, they are looking better than I thought they would be. Saints, we had I had them third. You actually had them third as well. No, yeah, we both had them third. So as far as the alignment of the South, we had it exactly the way that it is right now. And then the NFC North, I don't think either one of us had the Vikings at 5-0.
Nobody did.
Yeah,
I think everybody thought they'd drop off.
You had them last. I had them third. You had them last in the division.
So does Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas had them last.
We weren't just looking like total buffoons. We had it.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we both were in agreement with this, along with the odds makers. So can it last for the Vikings? I mean, they got Detroit this week. I guess we're going to find out. It's on our games of the week. We can talk about that here in a minute. Bears are 4-2, and so are the Packers. This is the best division in football right now.
Yeah,
crazy?
And I mean, it's like they're all playing good ball. Like Bears had their best game in years this weekend. And in that was in London, but that Packers look good, and the Lions are as tough as anybody in the league. They're going to be hard to beat.
I think so.
In the Super Bowl,
they're well coached, and I think I'm sticking by them as my Super Bowl team in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chiefs Lions was my pick for the Super Bowl, and I'm sticking to it. I think that's I don't know who they're going to play in the NFC Championship game, because right now the 49ers are trending like almost just middling out.
Yeah,
I would say like they're winning games, but they don't look very great doing it. They keep getting hurt too.
You had the 49ers, and you had a repeat.
I had a rematch. Okay.
I had Detroit. Houston. So.
Well, I didn't pick the Cowboys, so.
Well, thank goodness. You did pick them for the playoffs. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Well, who would have saw that? Yeah, we'll save it for surprises.
I do believe that the Vikings might make the playoffs, though, if they keep playing like they are. I don't know Sam Darnold can keep this up for more.
Well, when you're 5-0, it just like that your playoff probability just jumps through the roof.
Yeah, it's good, but you still got to play 12 more games. So
sure.
there's a lot can happen. And then in the NFC West, nobody there except for the 49ers appear to be wanted to win the league. They're 3-3. Seattle's 3-3. The Cardinals are 2-4, and the Rams are 1-4. It doesn't seem like anybody there wants to make the playoffs, based off what I see. And kind of like you said, they're nowhere near operating like a championship football team, the 49ers right now. So, I don't know. I wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals don't take that division.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray's playing really well.
If he stays healthy. I mean, they got as good as chance as any of the other three teams. And I can't stand for 49ers, but I love Brock Purdy. So, whatever.
Yeah, he's kind of a stud.
Yeah. All right. NFC East, the surprise team, the Washington Commanders. And I say that with reluctance. Two reasons why. They're not the Commanders, and I hate Washington. But they're 4-2 and leading the division right now.
Bill Simmons just calls them the Washington C words. He doesn't. Yeah, that's just what he calls them.
And then the Eagles are 3-2, and Cowboys are 3-3, and they're an awful 3-3. And then the Giants are worse than awful than 2-4. So, you surprised with anything you see with the Cowboys right now?
Not. I thought they would win regular season games. That's the best way that I can say it. Like, I really thought they would have no problem in the postseason or the regular season and just do their thing like they normally do in the playoffs, which is probably have a tough time. Maybe it's the opposite this year. Maybe they have a tough regular season and they take their hits and they win a game or two. You never know, but it's not looking good.
Well, I mean, the thing you got to remember is they've had horrible losses. I mean,
yes, they've had bad injuries.
Really horrible losses. I mean, they lose to the Lions last week by like 40 and 38, whatever it was. Might as well have been 40. Might as well have been 50. And then They lose to and they're all home games, by the way. They're just getting plummeted at home. They played Baltimore tough, towards the end of the game, but they got blown out in the first half. And I don't even remember who they lost to in the other game. What was it? Who beat them? Lions. Got the Lions. Saints beat them handily.
Yeah,
handily.
they beat them.
And the Saints aren't very good.
Game.
They're the worst without Derek Carr.
They killed them. It was not even close.
Yeah. But in all honesty, KC, I saw them 2-4 right now. They're 3-3 because I didn't think they'd beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. I honestly didn't think so. I figured they'd beat I don't know if I figured they'd beat the Browns, but they should have beat the Browns, and they did, and they should have beat the Giants, and they did. So I actually had them 2-4. They're actually one game ahead of where I had them, and I had them going 9-8. So now does it mean they're 10-7? Well, can you pull their schedule up?
Yeah, I got you.
Pull up the Cowboys' schedule and let's look down the road. I know they have the 49ers, I believe, at San Francisco.
This week.
They're
on a bye, right? Yeah.
The following week they have the 49ers.
They have the Niners. They have at the Falcons.
Okay, hold on.
The Eagles.
The Niners at home?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I still don't see.
No, they play the Niners at San Francisco.
And Atlanta's at Atlanta?
Yeah.
See, there's another way the NFL's killing them. Back to back. East Coast,
doesn't
West
get
Coast.
better, Dan.
I know. We talked about this the other day.
Because they have Eagles and they have the Texans.
They're losing all 4 of those games.
They have the Commanders.
They're losing that game
on the road.
I don't think they can beat the Commanders anywhere they play them. There's 5 games.
Then they have the Giants at home.
They can win that one. I think that's on Thanksgiving Day. Although
they play the Bengals when they get hot in December. Yeah. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
They have the Panthers, so they should win that one.
I think there's 2. Let's see. I think we're up to 7 games. I think they might win 2 of those. All right. So what else?
Panthers, we said.
Yeah.
And then at Eagles, and then they play the Commanders again.
Yeah.
That's the rest of their schedule.
They might win 2 more games down the stretch.
That would be just coloring
5-12.
Shocked.
That has to get Mike McCarthy fired. Please.
Yeah, definitely.
But some of my Cowboy buddies were talking, well, who do you think is going to be the next guy? Another retread. I don't care if it is Bill Belichick. I think the game has passed him by. I think he probably knows personnel halfway decent, but it's kind of like Bill Belichick or Bill Parcells. Bill knew personnel. The game just passed him by. I don't know if that's what Jerry's thinking. Did you hear about Jerry's blow up on the radio yesterday?
No, I did not.
Oh, he threatened to fire the guy that was interviewing him because basically it's his show.
Okay.
I'll just find somebody else to ask the questions because they asked him about not making any personnel moves in the offseason, and Jerry got bowed up.
What's he gonna do?
I mean, you think
it's a jerk? It's not.
You just wait.
It's his show.
He has been very fortunate to have won regular season games the last few years, and as a Cowboys fan, I am. You know how fed up I am, and there are more like me out there that are worse than I am. We are simply fed up with the process. The process isn't working. Jerry doesn't know personnel. He can't find coaches that know what they're doing. He thinks that he can find the diamond in the rough. It's kind of funny. No other 31 other teams think that the people they're picking are any good. That ought to tell you something. And I've said this multiple times. Everybody knows who the 10 best players are. Everybody knows that. That's not a secret. It's after you get past the first 10, what evaluation process do you have? And Dallas has no clue, and they proved it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They definitely.
I mean, they get one.
Yeah,
give you an example. Look, Dak Prescott is he's proved who he was. I mean, look, not all of this was his fault last week, but he just, that was the first game that when they beat the Steelers at 2 a.m. in the morning or whatever, was the first time he's ever won a game in regular season with a touchdown pass in his career.
Wait, what?
Yes, go back and look it up. I've got the information right here. Let me find it. I'll tell you exactly. I thought I sent you I thought I sent this to you and Josh. And I got this straight off of ESPN.
That doesn't even register in my brain.
I know, but think about it. He's won them in overtime, and he's won by field goals. But it's the first time he's ever thrown a touchdown pass in the closing minutes to win the game.
Oh, got you. So that's his first comeback drive or whatever.
With a touchdown.
Or like game-winning drive?
With a touchdown.
Yo, that's crazy.
In regulation.
That is crazy. Patrick Mahomes could never. Oh, my gosh.
Your boy Jeff Folks the other day was talking about, Mahomes. Pac's not Mahomes. I'm sorry, he's not. I mean, he's not.
No.
He's not even close.
It's just what we're used to. It's what we watch.
I mean, it's just look. I'm gonna have to get off my high horse because I think most people that listen to my show know how I feel. Our show know how I feel about Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. All I'm asking is let's win a few playoff games, but furthermore, let's find somebody that's innovative that can run the football team instead of some retread. I mean, what's the coach's name with the Rams? McVay?
McVay, yeah.
Sean McVay?
Yeah, Sean McVay.
Mike McDaniel, which I'm not a huge fan of, but he's an innovative guy. I mean, there's a lot of young talent in the NFL that are winning games with this innovative, not old school football mentality. And look, I'm an old school guy. I believe in it. I teach it. I coach it. But there are times when you have to be innovative and try to figure out different ways to win. And one of the things that they talked about on the Dallas Cowboy game show Sunday after the game, they were diagramming how everything looks. Everybody knows what they're doing before they do it because it's been scouted, and I've heard that for years. Everybody knows how to defend them because they know exactly what they're going to do. How come nobody else has that problem? That makes sense?
I have no idea.
And he showed how they lined up and how, this guy's going to go here and this guy's going to go there and the safety does this because he's seen the play before. And he goes back and shows the 15 other times they ran the play and I know what he's doing now. And they say they do that a lot. And I remember when my memory escapes me. Ray Lewis played for, and this has been a minute. So I think this is back when Jason Garrett was still a coach, playing the Cowboys, and he told Warren Sapp before the game, because I think Warren had retired by then, Cowboys, we know what they're doing before you do it, because everything looks the same. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's nothing new.
It's like, are Jerry calling the plays from the press box or his little perch or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, I'll get off of it. I know I said that once already. I'll get off of it. Okay. So NFC teams, Redskins. I'm sorry. Commanders. Can they keep that up? Can they keep up first place in the NFC East?
Jaden, he's so good.
He's very good.
He's so fun to watch. Jalen Daniels is so fun to watch. I don't think I realized how good he was. I mean, he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
And I expect a lot from him. Like, every fantasy football show that I heard this year is like, you got to pick him. Like, he's going to be a stud this year. So pick him on your team. So that's really all, I knew. It's like, this dude won the Heisman.
He played at LSU, right?
People like him. What's that?
He played at LSU, right?
Yeah, he's a Yes.
Did he kind of get that shtick because of Jamarcus Russell?
I don't think. I think Jamarcus Russell
He was
was
bad.
the worst.
Yeah. Well, I just wonder if people thought that's who he was, so they didn't give him a lot of credibility. He's good. I watched him play. He is really, really good. I mean, did I lose you?
Oh
yeah,
yeah, he's not. I was saying he's not built like Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah,
that's
true.
for sure.
No, he's not.
I accidentally pressed mute. Sorry.
Okay, good. Well, I guess yes or no, Commanders make the playoffs. Your opinion?
Yeah, I think they'll get a wild card.
Okay. So you still think the Eagles are winning that division?
Yeah, I think so.
So Dallas doesn't make the playoffs?
With
'Cause I
that
don't see 'em
schedule, I
making
don't
it.
think so.
I don't either. I look. We just ran. You didn't argue with me a whole lot on the games I thought they were going to lose, and that puts them at 5-12.
I just don't know with the way that they're playing.
Yeah.
And the schedule they have left.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
I can't. I don't know.
Well, you can say this if you want, but I'm looking like a prophet right now.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
Should have been to Vegas. Should have gone to Vegas. Anyway.
You might have should have gone to Vegas.
How about Minnesota? They make playoffs.
Yes.
Okay. I think they do too.
Just simply based on the fact that
I think you're going to have more teams out of that North Division make playoffs than you are of the NFC East.
What are their records? Let's see again.
They have the best division. Nobody's got under 4-2 in that division. I mean, the Bears are 4-2. The Packers are 4-2. Lions are 4-1, and
the Bears will inevitably probably fall away.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Is that they fall out.
Yeah, but you got Packers that could still make it, and they're playing pretty good football right now.
Yeah, I think the Packers definitely will make it.
They pull ahead of the Vikings.
No, I don't think so.
I don't either. But anything could happen. Okay. Look, I know we didn't get a lot of discussion about college football. We can kind of implement it on our picks, but let's kind of start with our picks because we're getting on the last quarter of the hour, top of the hour.
Oh, yeah, we are. Shoot.
Yeah, I ran it on the Cowboys too long. All right, LSU at Arkansas. I'll go first on this one. I don't really want to pick against Arkansas, but I think that what happens to them eventually happens to them anyway. But I really like them just because I went to school there for a year. I'm gonna go with LSU though. I can't see them winning this game. They had a big win again last week. No, they were off last week. 2 weeks ago, they beat Tennessee. I'm just not sure that they're equipped to beat LSU. I could be wrong though. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna go LSU.
Yeah. And then we got Georgia at Texas. Got the same fight song but different names.
That's a good.
I've been working on the railroad, and my eyes of Texas are the same song, by the way. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I did not know that.
I mean, the words are different, but it's the same tune. Yeah.
They used to do that. I don't know if it was like just public domain, and they're like, "This is our song now." Who do you got? Am I going first?
No, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm getting closer to thinking Texas is for real, but I'm just not quite there yet. I'm going to go Georgia. This game does not hurt Texas, by the way, as far as making the college football playoff.
It doesn't hurt anybody, really.
Yeah, it might hurt Georgia since they have a loss.
It might. But I'm going to go. Yeah, I think Texas is going to win.
Okay, interesting. Alabama. Oh, wait a minute. I can't have that. That's not. I messed up somehow. Georgia and Alabama can't play because Georgia and Texas are playing unless I wrote one of them down.
Wait, I'll look at it. Is it Auburn? No.
I don't think so because they play at the end of the year. Maybe it's Tennessee. Is it Alabama at Tennessee?
It might be. I'm on it. Hold on. No, they play. Yeah, they play Tennessee.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So it's Alabama at Tennessee. You can go first on this one.
I'm going to go Tennessee.
I am too.
Because they're at Tennessee.
Yeah. This would be the second time in 3 years they beat them, and the second time in a row they beat them at home if they beat them. So.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, they took that field goal post to the river last time.
Yeah. South Carolina at OU.
Gosh, I've seen some South Carolina games this year that they just give people heck. And I don't know what to make of OU right now. Let's see.
I don't think anybody does.
I'm taking Oklahoma, but I think that game's gonna be tight. It's a 1.5-point spread.
Are you picking Oklahoma because they find a way with that little Sooner Magic thing that they're so proud of?
Yeah. And it's home, it's at home.
I don't see them losing this game. I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I see them winning this game. So we both are picking OU, and then Oklahoma State at BYU, which
Jeez,
I'll go first.
Gross vomit.
Every year that OSU has a bye week, they come back with some secret potion, antidote to what's going on. And I do believe that Gundy is a really good coach. He finally starts coaching when his back's up against the wall, or they have an off week where he gets a chance to be a little bit more creative. I'm believe it or not, I'm going to pick OSU to win this.
You know what? You have me convinced because I think you diagnosed them pretty well, especially the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's been the case, but I think this might be too much for them.
Well, remember this.
So I'm going BYU.
Okay, I'll let you do that because I see a chance for me to get ahead here. By the way, I'll tell you what our score is. OSU on the road as an underdog are like 7-1 over the last 15 years.
You said this last year. This exact same thing happened.
And guess what?
They won. I don't know, Dan. And you're like,
they won.
You won.
All right. Still want to go BYU?
Yeah, I still want to go BYU because I'm just.
All right.
Yeah.
You've been warned.
I have been warned. You are correct. I can't wait to have that discussion in a couple
weeks. It'll be a good one. And by the way, we will not be able to do the show next week because I will be gone. So it'll be 2 weeks. And I probably won't even do picks because I'll be out of town. So it may be the first time in like forever. Unless you want to put the picks together and I'll respond. How about that? Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, if you would just text them to me and I'll have them to you by Thursday. How's that? Wednesday, I'll remind you, hey, send me pics. And we'll do that. Because
I can make it happen.
I'm going on our 20-year anniversary trip, and I'd probably get in trouble if I'm doing some podcast stuff. All right.
Good for you.
NFL, not for long. Detroit at Minnesota. Tough game.
Oh, boy. That's a good game. But I think Detroit's going to win.
I do, too. But it wouldn't surprise me if Minnesota, since they're at home. But I'm going to go with Detroit. I think they're just going to overwhelm Minnesota. Seattle at Atlanta. I'll take this one first. I'll go with Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go Atlanta, too.
Okay. Houston at Green Bay. This is a good one.
Oh, yikes. Man, I think Green Bay might find a way to win that one.
I don't see Houston winning on the road against Green Bay. If they were at home. What's the spread? Can you pull it up?
I'm on it.
These are all tough games.
Let's see.
There's no easy ones here.
NFL. Let's see. It is. It's Green Bay 2.5.
Which is basically even because
It's a toss-up, yeah. But I think Green Bay wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. It's hard to win in at Lambeau Field.
Might be cold too.
Could be. Baltimore at Tampa Bay.
That one, I'm going to say Baltimore. That one is another tough one, I think. I can't find the spread on that one.
Yeah, see what you can find out.
That's a Monday nighter, and it's 3.5 in favor of Baltimore. So another close one. I mean, you don't pick the easy ones.
No, I don't. And
Nope.
well, on purpose. We need to be tough. What's the spread again?
3.5 in favor of the Ravens.
I'm going to pick Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And you're going where?
I'm going to go Baltimore.
As much as I want Baker to lose, I think because I want him to lose, he'll win. That's my philosophy. That's my approach on this. Call me crazy.
I don't think you're crazy.
Okay, thanks. And the last game of the week, and your favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs. At San Francisco. I'll take this one first because the Chiefs are your team. I'm gonna pick the 49ers.
You're taking. Okay. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm just not going to bet against Andy Reid off a bye week.
Yeah. Well,
so
I probably would be with you, but I need to make up some ground. So, by the way, so far after 8 weeks in the season, you are 44-18, and I'm 36-36.
That is quite the lead.
Now remember last year, I think I gotta look here. I need to find how far I got behind. Give me just a second here. That's when I started catching up there. And I was 4 games behind there, and I was started taking there. 2 games there. 5 games. I was 5 games behind at one point, so I am 3 games up, or about worse off than I was last year, and that was week 5. Week 5 last year. I was 5.
You went back into the archives for that.
Well, I have the same book I'm working out of, so it does help.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have 3 games on me ahead than where you were last year. And what happened last year? You want to remind everybody?
I believe you ended up winning.
I did by like 1 game. So, never too late, right? Comeback kid.
Never. Hey, we won't call it a comeback.
It kind of was a comeback.
You've been here for years.
Well, I have been here for years, and so have you, my friend. So
sorry, I just had to pull out my LL Cool J.
We've been doing this a minute. All right. While you're getting your special devotion put together, I'll just let people know a little bit more about us. We're called Faithletic The Podcast. Faithletic, combination of faith and athletics. We're in the height of our football season, so we do tend to stick more to football. we will cover the Oklahoma City Thunder, and sometimes we do some baseball. That's KC's forte. Uh, um, don't really have a dog in the hunt right now, but I'm pulling for the Mets. But yeah,
Yeah, so is America.
yeah. But anyway, still playing, and I think I'd love to see a Mets Yankees series, but that's just me. But anyway, and then the off season we tend to have more guests that are probably fall along the biblical. We try to find people who have stories to tell, and we've got some that are football coaches and pastors and police officers, and we've had a number of different people, former players and former broadcasters and current broadcasters, and we have an array of guests. And at the end of each show, regardless of if we're doing sports or we're sticking to some life principles or movies or music or muscle cars, we do a devotion at the end to try to give people hope. And we're both believers, and we hope that you will find something inspirational. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague KC with Daily at the Cross.
Okay, so this comes from a devotional called Faith, Hope, and Love, A Reason to Celebrate. And the title of this particular day is called Laugh. So laughter, joy, thanksgiving, and praise are some of the most underestimated weapons in our artillery as Christians. We easily interrupt fear, worry, and anxiousness by remembering our blessings and give all thanks to God. We easily transform the atmosphere of our circumstance by laughing out loud. I remember enjoying a lunch with a friend whom I greatly admire. I was asking them questions about life, ministry, and just about anything else I could have. As our conversation continued, I noticed something about them talk that made me pause internally. They laughed a lot. They turned every topic into positive and managed to laugh as they shared stories and experiences with me. I walked away from that lunch asking myself, when did I get so serious? Since then, I've asked God to instill a greater sense of joy in my heart. How awesome to be like the kind of person found in Proverbs 31 who laughs without fear of the future. When life gets too serious, our strength is drained and everything we once loved becomes a laborious effort. Proverbs tells us over and over the value of joy, laughter, and thanksgiving to turn atmospheres around to correct our souls. King David continually ordered his soul to get back into line. This man suffered some of the cruelest assaults and private losses a person could face. Some were the result of his own doing, others were the treatment of others were through the unfair treatment at the hands of the ones he loved. Yet the Psalms he wrote are a record of this man's conscious discipline to correct his heart, specifically talking about in Psalm 42 and Psalm 103. When life gets on top of us, it is remembering the goodness of God and giving thanks to him, for it is the surest way to bring back peace. Remember, do you remember the amazing things he has done for us? Do you remember all that those other things are temporary and God is always good? When the enemy raises his hand against you, you can rejoice because God is unfailingly faithful to his children. He will always come through. He always does. So come on, friend. When did we get so serious? Lighten up, let out a laugh, and thank God for his goodness. Then laugh again at yourself for taking yourself so seriously. Laugh. There is also a very pointed time to celebrate and party, and it's usually important to do it in advance as a sign of faith. In Bible times, a Jewish household would always have a fattened calf ready in preparation for a celebration. They were ready to party at any moment, and I love that kind of faith. Faith that makes room for God, it makes room for a miracle, and is a constant state of party. Praise and thanksgiving make room for God, and he inhabits that room. When you praise God, your environment changes. You might have spent the week camping in the valley, but when you start thanking Jesus in the midst of that atmosphere, your view changes. In actual fact, your location changes. When we praise God, we move from the midst of our circumstance to the presence of God Himself. When our confession changes, our location changes. We're no longer describing the reality of the situation, but the reality of Jesus. Our souls shift from seeing what the world sees to being able to see Jesus over and above that situation. Praise magnifies God and minimizes a problem. Perhaps you've done enough interception, worship, and fasting. Maybe it's time to take off the mourning garments, shake off the dust, and throw a party or praise party. When was the last time the environment heard the sound of your laughter and the raucous praise given to your God? I really like that. I think that's really good. Like the idea of your location changing based on your stance of thankfulness. I think that's a pretty good word. Hello?
That's really good stuff. Sorry, I had Mike turned
Yeah.
off there. Is there scripture
No,
reference on that?
There's several, a lot of Psalms. Psalms 42,
Yeah.
43, 116, 22, and 15.
Good.
Proverbs 15.
Yeah. Good stuff. By the way, we've had a guest on our chat line for the last several minutes. The legendary DLC has been following us.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's me, DLC. Go Pack, go. Check the stats. Playoffs. It's Bruiser Brody versus Terry Funk. That's his code word, I guess. And again, it's Go Pack, go. He's a Packers fan. And then Devo. So anyway, sorry I didn't see you sooner, DLC, but I do see you. It's me. Woo. Yep, he's there. He's still with us. Thanks for being with us, one of our longtime listeners, even back from our crossover radio days, which is
Yes.
Which every once in a while I tend to open the show up as crossover radio because I did it so many times. I don't know why. I love the open, so I guess it's stuck. But that's where our origins is from crossover radio, and they are no longer broadcasting, but a lot of memories there, and I'm thankful that we had the opportunity to be a part of that ministry. So no show next week. Casey and I will still do games of the week, and we'll share those with you when we get back in 2 weeks. But it's been a great show. DLC says thanks for the Devo, Casey. So he was listening. And in fact, I believe he was listening last week as well. And for whatever reason, I had the chat turned off, but he was chatting on Messenger and Facebook. So I did see, by the way, DLC, I did see you. Just wasn't able to do it live, but I did see you after you're done. Anything else you want to share before we go?
No, I think that's it. I think it was a good. We made it through.
We did. All right. Well, it's been a wrap. It's been a show. We appreciate you joining us again. Faithletic. I am Coach, and I'm with
Casey,
and we are again Faithletic.
Faithletic the podcast.
We got that one kicked off.
That was good.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Shall rise to thee, holy, 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 merciful and mighty, God in three persons, blessed Trinity.